Welcome to episode 9 of Rewind Heroes. I'm your co-host, Greg Compton.
And I'm your other co-host, Dan Gaines. This is going to be your weekly video podcast where we talk everything, movies, music, television, everything that we deem cool.
Pretty much everything, and sorry we weren't here last week. We tried to make it a weekly podcast. Sometimes our work schedules are such that we just can't do that. But we've got a lot of cool stuff to talk about. Some cool superhero news, and then a whole bunch of Star Wars awesomeness. So you want to go ahead and get into some stories?
Let's do it.
All right, let's get into the newsreel.
So, Greg, in news that I think we all expected, Ben Affleck has been confirmed to direct and star in a new standalone Batman film. I know that you haven't had a chance to see Batman vs. Superman yet, but I don't think it was any surprise that there is, in fact, a standalone film and Ben Affleck's involved. I was a little surprised to hear that he is going to be directing. I think that's a good thing. But what's kind of your thoughts?
I think it's cool that he's taking ownership of the character.
Yeah.
So, and I haven't seen it, but I hear that was the bright spot. So I'm looking forward to it. I do want to know if Matt Damon is going to be the boy wonder. How do you like them apples? Yes.
Is there anything else? Let's just go on to the next story.
Moving on.
There's got to be something else.
Well, strange days are upon us, Dan. The first trailer for Doctor Strange, starring Benedict Cumberbatch as Dr. Stephen Strange, has arrived along with 2 really cool posters. The film will be released November 4th of this year. So, Dan, I know you don't know a lot about the character, but what'd you think by taking a look at the trailer?
Yeah, it's kind of cool because I go into basically every new Marvel hero that they come out with a film. I didn't read the comics. I didn't grow up really reading any of it, so it's cool to discover these characters through film. And all I really knew about Doctor Strange was that he is working with magic. And I loved the trailer. It did just enough to set up, you're wondering, like, what the hell is this? What kind of character is this?
Yeah.
So I just liked it because it did exactly what a trailer should do. It left me wanting more. What'd you think?
I liked it. I mean, I thought the fact that they wanted to point out, I mean, he's a neurosurgeon, that his hands are mangled. He's mangled in a car wreck, comes back, he doesn't quite have the dexterity anymore, goes searching for answers. They definitely cover this. I think that this trailer was very calculated. Definitely to get people in. I mean, you know, when we did Thor, that takes you to these realms, took you out of reality. You did Guardians of the Galaxy, you're bringing a whole space section. Well, now you're bringing in magic and the whole astral planes. It's a whole level that you just have never seen before. And this is kind of your second tier Marvel character. So I think it's, you know, we've got this great actor. So let's focus on the story in here. You think about it, the effects we saw, hey, everyone loved Inception, so let's have this city build, like, you know, flipping and twisting, very Inception-y. We only saw a bit of his costume. We didn't really see much of his magical powers. We saw him kind of kicked out of his body, kind of on the astral plane, but we didn't really see the astral plane itself, unless maybe that spiraling was part of that effect. So there's
So he's speaking a foreign language to me. Because none of those even mean anything.
And I don't know a ton about the character, but I know that, you know, it's magic based on an astral plane, things of this nature. And I think there's a lot they didn't want to show us, and maybe they wanted to start by grounding it in reality and letting you know it's going to go someplace nuts.
I think that obviously it's calculated. I mean, everything Marvel and Disney does is calculated.
Well, entertainment's a business.
And if you think about it, it makes a lot of sense that we get a teaser trailer this week because we're 3 weeks out from Civil War, which is where they want everyone's attention anyway.
Right.
So I think they did a great job of, hey, guess what? You're excited about Civil War, but we've got this next character that's going to be 5 months later, ready to go. So I think it did a great job just setting it up and letting people know there's more to come.
So we'll have to see where Benedict Magic Pants goes from here, right? That's what we got to see.
He's hitting on all cylinders today.
I don't know about that. Speaking of Marvel, I think we've got a little bit more Marvel news. What do you got, Dan?
Absolutely. Well, Greg, even though we haven't seen our favorite web slinger in action yet in Captain America Civil War, an official announcement has been made that next summer we get a new Spidey flick. Spider-Man Homecoming arrives next July. Now, when I first heard this, I knew there was obviously going to be the spin-off now that Marvel has the rights, but I don't think I realized we were getting this first adventure next summer. So what do you think? I mean, I was pretty excited just to hear about that. And
it seems pretty quick, so I'm guessing a lot of pre-production has been done that we aren't aware of because of Civil War. The outfit looked great. We'll see how Holland does in the role, but I think they want to come hot off the heels of what they're doing.
I think so too.
So I mean, there's not a lot to say on it yet, except for the name is interesting. There's a good parallel of he's a high school kid, truly in this one, so maybe high school homecoming of You know, like that aspect
That's
along
true. I
with
didn't
the
even think
Homecoming
of that
Spider.
like
Yeah,
that.
there's kind of a nice little twist with that. So
That'd be cool.
we'll see. I'm excited to see what they do, but let's see how he plays out.
That's what I was
Civil
going to say.
War.
I think honestly the biggest thing I took out of this is the fact that they kind of already had, I think it was this week, we had the premiere of Civil War. They had some early screenings even a week ago. And all the buzz, they haven't had any reviews, has been nothing but positive. And the fact that now, hey, we've got Spider-Man in Civil War, and guess what? Next summer we've got a Spider-Man film, tells me that they must be doing something right with the character. So
yeah, I think they have confidence
bring it
in
on.
this take on the character.
Absolutely.
So that's great. Well, shall we move on to the rewind? I think we got some Star Wars stuff we
Just
want to
a
talk
couple
about.
things to
there
talk
was
about.
a little thing that maybe came out trailer. Maybe you saw it called Rogue One. Maybe.
So, Greg, last week during Good Morning America, we got our first look at Rogue One, a Star Wars story. Little was known going into this other than the fact that we're going to get to see the team that goes in to steal the Death Star plans. I have my thoughts, but Greg, I'll go ahead and turn it over to you first. What were your initial thoughts when you saw this trailer?
I was incredibly excited for this trailer, mainly because I didn't expect to see as much as we did. And again, like we said before, trailers are very calculated. I think this is not part of the trilogy. And I think maybe they decided we need to definitely set some parameters so people know this is different, this is a new cast. So there's a bit of setup in here. Abrams didn't do that with Force Awakens, but that was just kind of scenes playing on our just reminiscence of
the nostalgia factor,
nostalgia factor. And Abrams never puts a lot in his trailers. This is not an Abrams film. No, I think it was great. We saw a lot to be chomping at the bit for. We saw AT-ATs with palm trees. We saw Forrest Whitaker's. What is he? Is he an assassin of some kind, bounty hunter?
I don't
maybe.
think we technically know yet.
We get the main character. This was basically Mission Impossible in space, and I thought it was great. What were your takes on that?
I think it was phenomenal, and I think that the biggest thing, like you said, this is different. This isn't an episode, and I think that if you go out and you talk to the general public, most people do not know that Rogue One was even coming. I don't think people understood that there's episodes and there's going to be these anthology films.
Right.
So I think that, honestly, this is a very important year for Disney to market this thing and let people know, okay, guess what? You already saw the sequel to the original trilogy. This is something totally separate from that. This is new characters. So it's going to be interesting to see the Disney marketing animal kind of get this thing out there in front of people. I have a lot of confidence they'll do that. But no, overall, the trailer from the very beginning, it sucks you in. I will tell you that my favorite part, and I've watched this trailer repeatedly, is when those sirens go off, when it just says coming this December, and it's woo, woo, and I did not record the sounds. I know you guys are all thinking. That, I don't know what it is, but about that, and it's flashing the different scenes gives me chills every time I watch it. So there's a lot of questions. I don't know exactly who Jen Erso is going to be. Is she good? Is she bad? I don't even care. I just can't wait to see it.
Yeah, I think she's going to be good. There's so much about this. Like, you wonder the guy that almost looks like a monk. Some people say, is he like another bounty hunter, someone hired to help?
Is he's blind, too.
Yeah, is this the religious warrior sect that, remember we talked earlier, there was casting for a religious warrior group that we all said, is it Jedi? Maybe it's not. Maybe it's something here. There's questions, who's the caped figure? Is that Vader? Is it not? There were Imperial guards
standing there.
Is there something there? It looks almost like a back to tank more than a throne or something. So, I mean, there's so many questions. Is there a Grand Admiral? What's that character? I mean, now there's been some backlash too about, another strong female lead. This is just another rip-off.
These are just people that like to bitch.
Okay, you think that's okay? I just want to make sure you thought it was as ridiculous as me, and then you've got the, hey, look, it's the Mockingjay, when it could also be similar armor to stuff we've seen that came out in '83.
I don't buy into a whole lot of that stuff.
No.
To me, if you're a fan of Star Wars and you're a fan of these types of films, I don't know how you could be anything but excited, unless you're just looking to nitpick.
I think so, and I think this fulfills more than I was actually expecting. I will say, when you're doing the offshoots, this is probably the best offshoot story to start with.
100%.
Marketing-wise, though, and as much as I fear the Han Solo film or something like that, I think if that had been the first, though risky, at least you wouldn't need as much marketing buzz to say this is not part of the trilogy, because the minute you saw a young Han Solo, it's called the young Han Solo, people are like, Okay, that's
You instantly
you
get
can
it.
see the poster. Have never seen anything, but you know
Right.
time frame. There's going to be those people that don't watch trailers and stuff. See
And
a
they
poster,
think
they
it's a
go in, and they're
sequel
like, "Where were the characters?" And
Yep. Well, that's
So-
one reason why that's why I'm curious how the marketing will unfold. It's into
Yeah.
September is when all the merchandise hits shelves.
Yeah.
So that's when they really, I mean, that's how Star Wars always
Yeah.
has done it. That's, I think, another opportunity for them to let people know what it is. But I guarantee you the next trailer, we're getting a shot of Vader. And that's
Yeah,
going to let
that'll
people
s-
know, you know what? And then that kind of goes back to your Han and Chewie.
That'll do
you
the
see
case.
it, people instantly like, oh, I get it. I love that era. Let's go check it out.
yeah, there's a reference, time frame reference.
Yes.
So now there was some other stuff for Star Wars. The Blu-ray came out for Force Awakens, which we both picked up and we
Yep.
loved. And we were checking out the extras, and we wanted to talk a little bit about it. First of all, what were some of your, before we even get into the documentary, that's
yeah.
the big part, what were some of your favorite things that you got to check out?
Yeah, just overall, I mean, I love that we've got a variety of documentaries. Deleted scenes have never done much for me. To me, if they're not in the movie, they probably don't exist anyway.
Did you feel that way with these? Because I really felt these were
They
lacking.
were just kind of like, hey, let's show them some stuff. I felt like we were seeing
Yeah.
a snippet of a deleted scene.
Do you remember seeing the original trilogy, some deleted scenes that showed like the building of a lightsaber?
Yep.
That would have been a scene that I would have loved to have seen in.
I
All
agree.
these, I thought I could have done without any of them.
No, I agree with you. And
Yeah.
I think that the only thing two things I was disappointed in, then we can get into more of the specifics. I was extremely disappointed we didn't get a commentary. To
Yeah.
have J.J. Abrams sit down and go through the film,
Yeah.
I'm assuming that's probably coming later. But then also, I think that, say what you will about the prequels, but the prequels, if you have them or if you have not checked these out, go back and watch those bonus features. I'm telling you right now, the one for episode 1, which is the making of,
Yeah.
it is as if you were a fly on the wall from beginning to end crafting that film. It's some
It
of the
was
best
phenomenal.
making of documentary I've ever seen. So I was hoping to get more of that style. We don't. These are still really well done, but you don't get that sense like you're in the moment or they're in a brainstorming meeting or an editing room. So
Yeah.
that was my only minor gripes. But what about you?
I would say, don't you wish when you saw that there was a table read that you had the entire thing?
Yeah, 100%. I wanted
Yeah.
I wanted a 2 hour and 20-minute table read.
No, and I know that there are reasons probably they didn't want that, and some of the actors said they felt uncomfortable during the read.
Sure.
Some people, I think when you see the clips, it seemed like Harrison Ford was just kind of reading his lines, just kind of getting the pace for it. People like Boyega, who thought maybe he wasn't even finalizing the film, he was acting there. So
He thought he was still selling.
Yeah, so it probably would have been a little odd. You know, maybe when you listen to the whole
It
thing.
may have even been strange.
But it was, exactly. I thought it was great. I thought it was interesting that probably they weren't given how to enunciate everything. So all of a sudden you get Kylo Ren mentioned. You also get that somewhere in the long form documentary.
Yeah.
But a couple other things I thought that were interesting was I loved the BB-8.
Oh, that was cool.
It was great, because, and me doing video, just seeing how they had different ones for different environments. In fact, that was one thing I did like about the deleted scenes, though, is the unfinished work.
Oh,
with,
yeah.
with the X-Wings and the speeder chase. So less about what the scene was, more of what it looked like before it was finished.
That's true.
That was what was interesting to me. I also liked the John Williams piece.
Loved that.
That was great. I mean, you don't get anything new there, but I just love that. Even my kids sat down and watched that.
Yeah, that's cool.
So the big centerpiece to this whole thing is the main documentary, which is about, what, an hour and 9 minutes, something
I'd say,
like that?
Yeah, a little over an hour.
What were your takeaways from that? How'd you feel about it? What'd you think about that?
I think, honestly, it's so neat to get to see it from beginning to end on that front, where you're hearing Kathleen Kennedy talk about sitting down with George Lucas and talking about the conversations with JJ and him not thinking it was something he was interested in doing. And just all that type of stuff. I eat that kind of stuff up.
Yeah.
And just seeing, you know what? It amazes you when you look at a film that literally took years, took hundreds of people to create, and then it's just a disc that sits on your shelf. And to me, when you get to see these documentaries, it makes you really appreciate the time and effort and the care that goes into these things.
Exactly.
And I think that documentary, in an hour, 10 minutes, like you said, does a great job of kind of wrapping that thing up and keeping it clean to the point.
Oh, it was great. And I think, you know, the cool stuff too is seeing just like the reactions when Harrison Ford comes back onto the Falcon and certain things like that. I like the interesting fact was hearing that Poe was supposed to be killed.
Oh, yeah.
And I think his acting was probably some of the best in the series for different reasons. I mean, all three of them were great. Like I said, I think he had the most natural deliveries. I think Boyega had some of the most fun, lines and deliveries. But yeah, just to hear that, Isaac might not have been around. So I'm glad that they're keeping that character.
Yeah.
Again,
that was one of the reasons he actually agreed to do it.
Yeah,
because
exactly.
he didn't want to be. He had been killed off in several movies, and
Right.
that ended up being the deciding factor for him.
Oh, I thought that was great. So, I mean, there's just so much. I love seeing the behind the scenes. When you're making a high impact program, takes so much to
There's
make it
actually
right.
300 people behind the camera.
300, and they're cheering, and then Chewbacca's going to hug me when we walk off here. No, it was so cool to see that. That's the kind of stuff that I saw when I was a kid. You'd watch these things, and that made me want to do TV. So,
Yeah, absolutely.
yeah, so I think that was great.
Definitely. So if you have not picked up the Blu-ray, what the heck are you doing? Stop what you're doing as soon as we say goodbye, and go pick this thing up because it's great. And
Yes.
as far as Blu-ray goes, it's beautiful.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, the display of this thing is amazing.
I've seen it so much. I am worried that my kids constantly root for stormtroopers every time they come on the
Is that
screen.
right? You're a little concerned.
We're gonna have a hard time.
That's great.
So yeah, check it out. It's obviously a great movie. We've talked about it a lot, but the features, the documentary, it's wonderful, and it starts with Lucas signing it away. So that's the best part, right?
absolutely.
So, all right. So I think we should move on to some recommendations. You ready for that?
Yeah, let's do it.
All right, let's go to the recos.
All right, Greg, so what kind of recommendation do you have for us this week?
Okay, I've got two. I'll give you one right now.
Cool.
Normally I do a full album or something like that, but this is a little different. If you saw our Desert Island episode, you saw that one of my top 5 albums is from Michael Franti. I just love his positive kind of island vibe music. They just announced their new album. It's coming out, I believe, June 3rd, 2nd or 3rd. It's called Soul Rocker, and there's 2 songs you can get with the pre-order. And one of them is called Crazy for You, which is really good, really fun, good summer tune. And the other is called Once a Day. And if you are a Michael Franti fan, you might have heard that because he released that by itself a couple months ago. But anyway, those are both downloads now. Cool. And from that vibe, I think this is going to be a really cool, positive, roll your windows down, just blast as you're driving. So Soul Rocker,
Nice.
check it out. Check out those songs. I'll post Crazy for You from YouTube.
Nice,
and maybe Once a Day. I'll post those on our page. Like us on Facebook. Come on now.
Yeah,
What do you
exactly.
got?
Yeah, I just going to let you guys know I finally got through seasons 1 and 2 of Daredevil. Loved it. And I couldn't stop the Marvel train from there. So I actually all the way got through Jessica Jones. Great show. Cannot wait to see where that goes and once they get the other Defenders involved. So just, if you have not seen it, check out Jessica Jones on Netflix.
One other thing I've got, speaking of shows and going back to stuff, very first episode I think it was, I recommended Outlander and how much I really enjoyed
Yeah.
it. Season 2 has come back on, so if you
Nice.
picked up on that show, or if not, get caught up. Season 2 takes them to Paris, and it's going to be a completely different feel. It's a little disjointed at the beginning of this episode, but I think we're in for a really cool ride. Really
cool.
great set pieces, so I think that's awesome. And anything else you got?
Yeah, we did this a couple weeks ago, and we're going to start probably ramping this up as we get into the summer movie season. But just wanted to give you guys a heads up. This weekend, Jon Favreau's The Jungle Book opens in theaters. This thing's had really, really good reviews. I think right now it's on Rotten Tomatoes with 100%. There's already talks of a sequel. I've heard the voice acting in this film is amazing, and visually it's stunning. I don't know if you're going to get a chance to get out to the theater, but if you do, Jungle Book's out there, so check it out.
Oh yeah, very much.
So yeah, I was just saying, I think that's it. I think that's all we've got this week.
I think that is. Where can they find you?
Yeah, if you want to find us, I'm on Facebook and on Twitter, just simply at Dan Gaines. Also, please, what's our email? I should know it. I don't email us.
RewindHeroes@gmail.com.
You can find us there. Where can they find you?
I am on the Tweeterverse at gcompton007, so check us out there. Email us again. We have a Facebook page.
Yep.
Go there, like it,
Please.
enjoy it, love it. It's awesome. And I think that's pretty much, that's a show. Sounds like a show to me.
We wrapped the show. We
I
took
think
a
it
week
does.
off and we came back and we delivered.
Pretty much, kind of strong. Yeah, why not? Sure. Until next time, be kind.
And please, rewind.